Once again, game number 2 of our Champions Summer Grand Finals. KT Rolster down a game to SK Telecom. Let's see what gets banned out. Of course, teams swapping sides. This time KT on blue side, SK Telecom on the red side. There's the Vayne and the Shen bans again. Same first bans as we saw in game 1.
I don't feel like KT need to adjust their picking phase. I thought they picked very intelligently. They had an identity. They just couldn't execute on it. So let's see if they reset and go for this kind of counter pick style, or if they just go for a more comfortable kind. If they get someday on a carry top laner, because that seems to be what KT's really all about.
I think if you're KT here, you really start thinking about first picking the Rek'Sai. That way you don't have to ban out the Evelynn, but they're going to do it anyway, so they may be trying to pick up a first pick Azir here, but that will be banned away. Remember, the Shen and the Azir, also the ban strategy that the Ku Tigers used up against KT.
True, and it nearly worked. That was a very, very close series. And KT's final ban is going to be Kalista on blue side. What's that going to cause SKT to ban out? Lulu, okay. Not wanting to let Someday have that one. It is still a bit of a flex pick anyway.
Speaking of flex picks, it opens up the likes of the Fizz
Gangplank.
top. We were wondering about Gangplank, we've been wondering about Fiora. Fun to see them hovered, but Fizz is that priority pick that slipped through the picks and bans, and it's going to be locked in.
I wonder how they're going to react to that. Obviously, that will move SK Telecom off of a possible Maokai pickup.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too, because Marin, you know, of course, he talks a big game on this Maokai, and he is 23-0 in his last 23 games on the champion, but that Fizz certainly will give him pause. Are we going to see the Kennen? We have seen SKT run it as support every once in a while. Obviously, it can be run up in the top lane, too. Will they lock it in? The Elise already locked in.
Lane dominant AD carry duo. Bang and Wolf, they like to stick around together. So if you're parking the likes of Illusion, Kennen, a Kalista again, of course Kalista banned this time, but
there it is.
Really strong a laning champion, which makes sense. Wolf, who can pull off the roams, but looks so much more at home, bossing around a 2v2.
Yeah, so 2 more picks over to KT now.
It's interesting. We haven't seen SKT on 5.15 yet. Were they going to keep prioritizing that Rek'Sai? They'd like to early pick junglers for Bengi in general, but the answer is no. They are all aboard with Elise right now. That could give the Rek'Sai over. And as for a flex pick for KT here on the Fizz, Nagne, it is worth noting, has never played a professional game of mid lane Fizz. So that's not something that he's ever showed before, but the same thing could have been said from Kuro, and we did see the Ku Tigers successfully flex that pick earlier in the playoffs.
And I'd almost say it's a little bit more surprising to see Kuro pull that off than it would be Nagne, but they will go ahead and lock in the Thresh Ashe for their bot lane.
Sivir actually being picked up on 5:15 after the ult changes. Faker, will we see one of these champions been spamming? The Gangplank is one of them, Fiora.
I hope so. I really do.
It's going to be another blind pick mid laner. It might be a Fizz, but we'll wait and see what they choose.
The Diana's been so strong. I mean, you have Godby in China kind of showing everybody the way on this Diana, and it's started to leak into other regions, Korea recently as well.
So Sivir, picked for comp, picked for getting in there onto the Ashe, helping the Kennen get into the backline, helping whoever get into the backline. It's probably going to be a Diana, another person. You have to be so on point with Sivir because her ult is no longer forgiving. If you are not grouped to get that buff straight away, the duration is just a pittance. You don't really get the payoff. So suddenly SKT are going to need to be on point with their grouping. They were in game 1. They have been for most of the season. So understandable pickup, but still, it's 5-15 Sivir. The risk reward, it's changed from the past.
Diana locked in for Faker now. Final 2 picks over to KT.
They're going to be just trying to dissuade the Victor pick here. That's what the Diana is partially here for. Take away the possibility that that comes in, because that has been a backup pick for Nagne in general. Now, I'm not sure what he wants to pick into this, because Nagne was the one who was picking up the Diana in the previous series, and they wanted to shut down too. KT successfully ran the Fizz-Diana combo for a 1-3-1 split push, and now that is no longer going to be available to them.
Looks like it's going to be Rek'Sai Victor anyway. Nagne not afraid of playing into that Diana. It looks like, yep, locked in. Rek'Sai Victor. So what will the final pick for SKT be? Are you convinced that Kennen's going to the top lane? No, I guess not. Malphite locked in. Wow. You know, we have the Ku Tigers in the building right now. They're sitting right in front of us. They're the only team we've seen in Champions play that champion so far this season. pretty big. It's great against the Ashe, but you kind of need to group up to make that all work, right?
Well, SKT has to group up. That's really the story here. This is a massive 5v5 combo composition, and they want to get into the back line, and it's going to work. Victor and Ashe going to have a very hard time dealing with a Diana Malphite engage with Sivir there, so KT pigeonholed a little bit. Someday I think is going to have to come up huge this game in terms of split pushing to get them the necessary lead.
Think of the flanks as well. Double teleport and a cannon. Even Gorilla on the Ku Tigers showed what you can do with this cannon, even initiating from the support role. So Arrow, I mean, we said it about Bang, it was kind of shut down, but Arrow, his life is so precious this game.
Yeah, Marin on that Malphite. You got this composition is almost like a Ku Tigers homage from SK Telecom, but it's really scary. Bengi back on that Elise again, of course. Had a lot of great cocoons last game score. We'll see how he can do on the Rex side. The Vi, not quite as inspiring. Faker on that Diana. First time we've seen him on the champion in a long, long time. Nagne on his very strong Victor, but it's going to be a rough laning matchup for him.
Yeah, Diana does very well against Victor. Can even take a non-combat summoner in teleport and still have a wonderful time against the Victor.
Bang Sivir versus Arrow's Ashe, of course, and then Wolf on Kennen versus Peekaboo's Thresh. And that is our lineup for game number 2, guys. KT trying to tie it up versus their rivals, SK Telecom. Let's get in the game and see if they can pull it off. And welcome once again to Summoner's Rift. Teams already getting in position here in our second game of the OGN Summer Grand Finals. You're on Champions Korea.
So Faker on Diana. This is not really a Faker champion. He's only ever played it twice professionally. He's won both times. If we think about Faker's history, his aggressive play style, his love of assassins, it's surprising, honestly, that he hasn't played more Diana previously.
It really is, yeah.
But you know what the exciting thing is, Monty? We hyped up the matchup between the mid laner, the best mid laner potentially in the world in Faker, and Someday, who's certainly been blazing a trail in the top lane. This is a matchup where we do expect to see Faker and Someday tussling up towards the mid to late game. The fact that they both pick up teleports. If Someday cannot actually get rolling this game, cannot answer the split push from Diana, the headaches for KT are massive.
Yeah, Faker just going back to pick up another pot, I believe.
Yeah, once just some more consumables in that lane. Marin holding off on his purchase until he sees what his lane matchup is before he recalls to buy some more items. Bang will be in that top side, and we are going to see both duo lanes heading up into the top lane this time around, and that's going to lock down Peekaboo. A lot of Peekaboo's strengths come from his ability to affect the mid lane matchup, and that sure would be useful here on Diana before she hits level 6.
Will he be able to do it? It's going to be a little bit tougher. The duo lanes going at it in the top lane now.
2v2 terms, you definitely take Sivir Kennen over the Alistair Thresh matchup. So how will KT react to this? Will they be able to create enough pressure to allow Peekaboo and Wolf to try and leave lane and Peekaboo to open up the big places? Bang takes a lot of trade damage.
Yeah, a lot of trade damage. Peekaboo taking a good amount as well, but that was a nice double play. And Peekaboo's Thresh, you know, we've seen what a deadly player he can be on this champion over the course of his career, especially at the end of this season after joining up with KT. For now, though, SK Telecom taking the early lead up in this top lane, pushing it forward a bit.
Marin's going to come back down into the bottom side with some cloth armor, so of course it will be Trinity Force Fizz, and the 80 runes, so he is just going to want some extra protection early as Bengi looking to get some deep wards in. Got to be careful about that one.
Yeah, a little intricate game, though. Bengi moving in, knowing he'd be trapped between the mid and jungle, but then Nagne recognizing that he would have been trapped between Faker and Bengi had he kept going, so certainly a dangerous game. Score on the run here, Bengi and Wolf being very annoying, taking one of those wolves, which seems appropriate, I suppose.
Yeah, getting pushed back out right now, but the pressure already coming in on the top side, using that Sivir wave there to quickly push up to that tower and then freeing up Kennen for the roam into the enemy side of the map. Arrow and Peekaboo Not really having an answer for that at this stage, so just trying to snap up even the smallest advantage, but that's how you play against KT. You want to slow them down in the jungle and keep Peekaboo nailed down. That is going to be the most effective strategy for SK Telecom in this best of 5.
Mentioned during Champion Select, KT's big ace in the hole is someday specifically counter-picking for him. They blind picked the Fizz. We were expecting Fizz top and we got it. The result is this matchup against Malphite. Now Fizz, he has a wonderful time against Maokai, which of course is a big Marin champion. The fortunes are certainly mixed against Shen. From what we've seen, Shen consistently can win that lane, even in terms of a 1v1 trade battle after a certain item cap. Now we see the Malphite matchup, which is a new one, but just given the identity, just given the tankiness, the fact that he can itemize for armor despite it being a Fizz and just a bit of health, it seems like it's going to be a pretty comfortable matchup for Marin, and someday he's got so much to deal with between the fact that it could be Victor or Malphite.
Here we go.
Faker, a little bit trouble score coming in for the gank. He's going to hit with the Prey Seeker. There's a flash knock up. Faker flash in the brush. Nice cocoon from Bengi. Going to help his mid laner escape. Close call there. Repel. Bengi moving over to the Scuttle Crab. And they're going to get Faker out. Burning his flash. Score had to use his as well, so Summoner's even between teams anyway.
Yeah, but getting that flash out on Diana is incredibly useful. Diana, for all her strength and all her all-in ability, when she works well, she works very, very well. But the fact that she really can't escape from engagement, she's very binary. She only goes in.
Yep.
I suppose that's not even binary, that's just
Solo.
But the fact that she's so strong in the lane, so strong with her shield, just basically tank a lot of damage, freeing herself up in this matchup to even take teleport, you don't really punish her that much. Okay, she doesn't have the flash, but she doesn't even miss any minion wave. So the movement towards this teleport, Diana, has really helped her reliability in what can be a tough laning phase pre-6.
Does help, and you've got to imagine that SKT is probably not going to need that teleport too much for the next few minutes anyway. Not bad to have to use it there.
Marin just crushing it in terms of CS here in this lane. Someday opted into this matchup, but he sure is having a hard time farming. And Marin is level 6, Someday is not.
Yeah, it looked like KT was maybe trying to set something up with Score down in the brush there, but as soon as they saw Bengi, they knew that wasn't going to work.
They're also just trying to make sure he doesn't get dove here.
Yeah, of course.
So that's a bit of a concern. We'll see how good Someday's dodging skills are. He is level 6 right now. Faker heading up into the top jungle.
The concerns are map-wide, Monte Cristo. You can see the pressure in top lane's been mostly just been pushed out at will by Sivir, as you'd expect in the Ashe matchup. Diana's had the pressure, even without flash. You can see Faker is well over the midpoint of that lane. And we saw Malphite under turret as well. KT just haven't been able to get aggressive wards in either game. Maybe by their own choice in game 1, focusing on combat stats. But in this game especially, they are being super, super punished in the laning phase by SKT.
You know, SKT is really showing some interesting stuff. Wow, it's a lot of damage on the Peekaboo. He's going to throw the hook in. Wolf dodges. But SKT, they've had so many people leaving lane for just a moment, just to keep KT guessing. Bengi uses the opportunity to throw down a ward in the enemy jungle, and with Arrow and Peekaboo poked out like that, SKT can really kind of do whatever they want with this top jungle of KT Rolster.
Need to be pushing out one lane, need to be applying pressure somewhere. That's what, of course, the draft mode opens up, is counter picks, is points of pressure. If a team is allowed to have pressure in all lanes and a strong skirmishing jungler, and at least the strongest definitely on this patch, you worry for KT. They're really just tunneling in on just a very, very late game situation, which with the double teleports is certainly not a reliable thing to opt into if you're KT.
Well, you have to admire SK Telecom's draft, though, because it looks like Marin is very comfortable in this matchup. Remember that they banned out SK Telecom, the Fizz, in the first game. When they saw it picked first, they already had a plan. We're going to just last pick the Malphite into this. Malphite's been able just to ground slam in that lane and keep the Fizz at bay, keep a large CS advantage. And
there's a ward there. Faker gets grabbed, no flash. He's in trouble now, trying to make something out of it. Here comes Wolf. Does he have level 6? No, not yet. Teleport coming in for SKT, but Faker getting low. A huge ultimate from Marin. Faker still goes down, though. First blood goes to Score, but it's not over yet. Wolf in a bit of trouble now. Someday all over him. Bang, trying to body block for his support. Here comes Bengi. A huge melee in the jungle. Can KT keep their players alive? It's going to be tough. Arrow coming from the side. No, he's got a lot of health. And wow, this is low. Bang takes out Victor. Peekaboo. Bang, can he get him as well? Or Bengi trying to take him out? Wolf gets a bloodthirsty kill. And meanwhile, Peekaboo goes down as well. And SKT turns that Faker first blood into more. They're going to dive score as well. It's an ace! It's an ace for SKT! And Wolf, oh no, he got killed by the turret. Or turret, rather. I don't know what a turret is, but SKT with a huge lead after that one. Man, that was disastrous for KT Rolster.
Well, absolutely. A total disaster right there, and that's the price sometimes you get for tunneling onto Faker. And they had the 2 teleports coming in, but Marin hit the 4-man ult, and it starts out so well, right? Man. They get Faker low, but then, I mean, the gravity field is down, but look at this flank.
Welcome to the R zone.
It's a big mistake by Peekaboo early in the fight. Actually exhausted a level 5 cannon. Probably thought he was level 6, but didn't have that ultimate, so presented no threat. Someday tries to push his advantage, and this is the get out button. Of course, the fleet of foot passive from Siva means you just can't kite her, and even though Someday lives for so long, on every other front, SKT is dominating.
Yeah, there's just not enough damage yet from Arrow early. He did pop that ultimate quite soon, and the skirmish going to SKT in a major way.
Wow, and that's just got to be soul-crushing for KT Rolster. You just gank Faker, you're like, all right, we got first blood on the score, we're doing great, and then 4-man ult from Marin, already making that Malphite do work. Man, Marin, MVP of the first game, already the MVP of the second game, in my opinion, too.
I mean, he's 40 CS up right now. He's absolutely smashing this laning phase. What is Someday supposed to do? Faker may have died, but that's not even going to stop them. Peekaboo.
Cocoon onto him. Arrow is there, but they don't care, man. They're going in anyway. Faker and Wolf coming down. Faker dives in, gets his first kill of the game. Bang, really low. Repels out of the turret shot. Wolf taking it now. He's got to run, man. Whoa, they committed hard to that one. Got a kill. Took a lot of damage in return, but it looks like it's okay for the moment anyway.
Over 3,500 gold lead at 10 minutes. Fizz needs to get ahead because he has to deal with Faker's split push, and he is woefully behind.
All they can do right now is try and put some pressure onto this topside turret with Marin.
Teleport.
Holding in the mid lane, and here's the TP. Hello.
Right. Faker comes in on the Arrow. Easy kill there. Whoops.
It's just a shooting gallery for SKT. Whoever they show up to, their items are in their head, their power spikes are in their advantage. Now they're going to take the dragon as well. There has been no aggressive wards in either of this game, and none of that is clear. When you look at this mini-map, there's hardly blue wards anywhere over the defense.
Well, SKT, I really think this draft was very strong against KT's playstyle. You look at the way that they're shoving the lane so aggressively in this game, and that's just bottling up score and Peekaboo, and those are the major playmakers. They have to be out on the map in order for KT to get ahead. They were punished by first picking that Fizz, maybe over-prioritizing it, and it's going to take really a miracle for KT to get out of this one.
Man, I think this is going to hurt KT's winning after getting first blood percentage, isn't it? Because they got it in game 1, they got it in game 2, and does not look good.
And the distressing thing is that they were in this position in game 1. They were the ones that had 3-lane counterpicks. They had the strong lanes, and they couldn't make this sort of play around 12 minutes. It feels like SKT, this time they got the lane assignments they want, that are stronger on paper, that are clearly stronger in execution. But at 12 minutes, what a world of difference there is between where KT was able to snowball things and where SKT have made things happen in game 2.
There's a real possibility that Marin might be able to even pass the flame horizon this game, getting that 100 CS edge over Someday at some point. And Faker, talk about getting ganked. First blood taken against him. Now suddenly just jumps back with 2 kills, and he is as terrifying as ever.
Well, you have to wonder what this is going to do to KT's mentality, too.
Yeah,
here we
go. For Faker. Oh, the arrow misses Faker just barely. Ash's ultimate not quite connecting.
I mean, game 1, KT takes an early advantage, fails to play out their composition or their win conditions properly. This time, they get absolutely crushed in the laning phase. And what does a KT win look like right now? They can't play when ahead. They're playing even worse when behind, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I don't think anyone's ever gotten a win when SKT's gotten an edge like this.
You hate to talk about, penciling in a victory for a team at 13 minutes, but I agree with Monty. You think about the late game. There's no answer to Faker. Even Marin is going to be able to split push against Someday. Someday is so far behind that if he doesn't pick up, you know, triple kill or quadra kill in the next 5 minutes and really get snowballed in items. The split push doesn't work. The team fights are certainly going to be an SKT's advantage. They have multiple ways to initiate. They can even flank with their support. Everything is in SKT's playbook. They can just choose which page to read this time.
Yeah, you know, we've seen some pretty amazing comebacks this season overall, but if KT comes back in Game 2 here, this is going to be one of the biggest comebacks we've seen ever in Champions.
Yeah. I mean, there's not much else to say at this point. It's this game is really all but over at this stage. Someday they needed him to at least provide some sort of pressure on the map, and he's so far behind both Marin and Faker that that's just never going to happen. And when it comes to grouping and team fighting, KT will also find themselves behind because of the amount of engage and crowd control that this SK Telecom lineup has.
It's rough. Don't mess with Mecha Malphite. I can see the Coup Tigers players in front of me. There's definitely some smiles on the faces there, and not just because of the Malphite pick, but if SKT wins this match, Coup Tigers goes to Worlds. You know they're rooting for SK Telecom.
It's another year where KT may have to fight through a gauntlet to make it to Worlds. They were big-time favorites last time around and couldn't make it happen. And
yeah, you got to draw some parallels between now and 2013. Same situation. KT needing to win the championships to make it to Worlds. Otherwise, they're going to the Gauntlet. Same situation now in 2015. They need to win the summer season. Otherwise, they're going to the Gauntlet.
Big difference was KT won those first 2 games in 2013.
That's the big difference, yeah.
It's not looking that way this time.
No, definitely not. As Marin pounds away at this top tier 1 turret. Bengi right there as well.
I think one thing we can take away already from this series is that as much as Score has developed as a jungler, he is just completely being outpathed by Bengi over the course of this series. You can tell that Bengi is much more frequently in the right places to keep the pressure on, and Score has been pretty much resigned to farming deep within his own jungle right now. He doesn't look like he knows where he needs to be in order to just stem the bleeding, to stop the bleeding here from KT. Yeah. The only thing that's happening is he gets a couple of engage ganks off, but he keeps getting his team further and further behind.
6,000 gold lead at 10 minutes, or 15 minutes rather. Haven't seen that one in a while. Oh, and Faker just finds Arrow again. You know when plays are happening like that the team mentality is kind of broken at this point, isn't it?
Off screen, you can see Flash was used, Ultimate was used, no effect onto Faker.
This Ashe is pretty vulnerable, and you know, it's been a long tradition in Korea to avoid AD carries that don't have escapes. Korea didn't like Jinx right away. Ashe, same way until recently, and this is why. It's things like this that make Korea not pick these kinds of AD carries.
Well, I think we'll see what happens to Ashe. I think that's definitely true. The nice thing about Ashe that I think is attractive to the Korean teams, while we still haven't seen very much Jinx, is that Korean players like that kind of utility. It does open up a lot of team compositions that you couldn't use otherwise.
Oh, he's on Arrow again! Arrow pops the summoner heal, but I don't think he's getting out. No, Faker just dives the turret and takes him down. Meanwhile, Bengi repelling out of harm's way. Wolf is right there. Flashes, teleport coming in. SKT all over KT again. Goodbye, Peekaboo. Marin finds him with the ultimate. Goodbye, Nagne. A double kill now for Bengi on that Elise, and Score tries to flash to freedom, but it's not going to work. SKT's going to find him too. That's 4 kills for 0, and Bang just left on his own, taking up the turret.
This gold lead.
Man.
10,000 gold at 17 minutes in a final against a KT team that have been on the up. And sometimes you have to stand up and be counted. Both Monte Cristo and I predicting a KT win, but what did we not have? We didn't have much data points about what SKT looked like in the last month. Faker's only played 2 games with this team. One of them a bloodbath against Samsung. One of them a poor performance against Najin. Look at this interaction. Marin will have more trouble against a cannon minion than he will against the Ashe.
Marin, did you know there's an AD carry hitting you right now? Oh, man. Taking some turret hits, taking some AD carry auto attacks while his team takes Dragon. That has got to be the most demoralizing thing ever for Arrow right now. It's like, I auto-attacked that guy for like a full 20 seconds and nothing happened.
We just had no information about SKT in the last month with new patches, with this main roster. Remember, they've been running a lot of Easy Hoon.
I knew. I believe.
Your confidence has been paid off because SK Telecom, once again, look like the best team in the world just looking at these 2 games.
Yeah,
right.
It's just the way they snowball leads, too, that is absolutely beautiful because they operate together, which is very weird. We talked about their low kill contribution, but that doesn't, it says they don't team fight, but what they do is that they play so well on the map.
Someday caught again. Faker is just controlling this game. Faker, things Faker does, man. I mean, it's happening.
This is only his 3rd professional game on Diana.
Faker's basically playing against intermediate bots when it comes to dealing with base stats, with dealing with anything. Everyone is a viable kill. Doesn't matter about turrets.
Oh, you got too close to the mount.
Will he kill him with Sunfire?
Yeah.
Oh.
Cheese wheel for the victory. He's
Sunfire.
running in. Here we go.
Burn him!
Goodbye. You bet Mel fought to death. Wolf gets pulled in. Slicing Maelstrom gets popped by Nagne. There's a death for SK Telecom. Bang in a little bit of trouble now. The hubris is real, but here comes Bang, doing some damage to Nagne. A lot of damage to Nagne, actually, as he runs away now. Pop that ultimate. Meanwhile, a kill for Someday. Managed to find Bengi in the jungle. Meanwhile, Marin pushing towards that mid lane. Faker's coming in to cause some trouble.
Yeah, does get slowed up by the box immediately upon porting in, so he wasn't able to make any kind of play off of that, but you see the pressure just keeps piling on. And a bit of a sloppy dive there from SK Telecom, disjointed. Wolf thinking he could get in there with the slicing Maelstrom after Faker was already retreating, but it really doesn't matter.
Well, SKT with such a massive lead now, yeah, like you said, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's a bit odd to see, but I mean, you really don't need to play too carefully at this point, do you?
I mean, who's going to kill the Malphite? Nobody.
Yeah, certainly not Ashe.
Who's going to answer the Diana split push? Nobody.
Yep. Well, Faker's 1v1 pretty much everybody on KT at this point. He's 6-1-0, only dying in that first blood, and there's the Ku Tigers. They're like, go SKT, go! They really want SKT to win this one, because if they do, Ku Tigers go to Worlds just like that. It's kind of a similar situation back to 2013 again. SKT winning that championship, and that sent a Samsung Ozone, Samsung White in the audience to Worlds that year as well.
Hopefully the Ku Tigers have a better performance. Hello.
Oh, hello. Marin on top of Arrow again. Can he kill him?
Yep.
He is the ultimate. There's a Q stealing that movement speed. He's chasing Ashe down. Arrow uses a summoner heal. Peekaboo steals him out on the lantern, and then he goes forward to keep the Malphite away. They're going to pull him back in. Nagne's there with a lot of AP damage. Marin just goes, it's safer by the turret. Oh, I think Marin's going to die here. Whoa, behind that side. Oh, Nagne gets the kill there. Things are getting a bit silly, guys.
Things are definitely getting a bit silly.
Yeah.
We see that SKT is starting to play very cavalierly. They have to be careful because this should be 100% a one game for them, but I wouldn't be giving KT any more windows back in.
I certainly wouldn't be giving the victor kills.
Yes, that is probably the worst thing they could be doing right now because a 6-item victor is scary no matter what. Again, very far cry from that even being a remote possibility. We only see the hex score upgraded on Victor. He's not anywhere close to hitting a 6-item spike or anything like that. But
his most impressive source of damage is a blasting wand at 21 minutes in the game.
Some nice ability power from the hex core, but you're right. No need this large rod, no need this large rod item. And we still have to come back to the fact that Someday needs to deal with one of Marin and Faker and is still woefully inequipped to do that.
All SKT needs to do is group up and just crush him in another team fight.
Malphite's pretty good at that.
About it. Yes, he is.
yeah, and there's nothing that's stopping SKT. If you're SKT right now, sure, the split push is working great, but why not just dive their turrets with a Malphite and a Kennen or the Sivir ult?
Yeah.
That is a very real possibility for you.
So Kennen has a Medjais.
Yep.
Why not? As you do.
As you do. With the all-in.
Oh, Faker finds Someday. Can he finish him off? Not a lot of vision there for SKT at the moment, and that will scare him away for now.
So I guess you could say maybe some of the gold's being spent inefficiently, but when it's 10,000, it's the least of the problems for SKT is the Medjais.
That's true. At least they've got Bengi on that champion. No, nobody? All right.
Nope.
Wow.
Baron time.
Two co-casters, double the shame. It is Baron time for SK Telecom. They know they can force a fight here.
Well, why
Marin
not just keep
takes
split
some
pushing? He's got the Sunfire just to continue
Yeah, why not?
pushing that down. And starting to move up, doesn't have to use the teleport if he doesn't need to. There's the Baron coming in. Oh,
Yeah.
nope, they're not going for it.
Want to play a game, guys? How
Sure.
many auto attacks has it taken Ashe without an Infinity Edge to kill a Frozen Heart Sunfire K Malphite?
Probably a lot. I'm not good at math, you know that. I'm just going to say a lot.
I'd say 40.
That's
I think
lot.
it's more than that.
Oh,
You really
Marin
think?
and Faker coming in. They could find Peekaboo. Peekaboo pops the box right away. And Marin just throws a Q at him. They've got the, they don't have the Baron. They turned off of it, but they've certainly still got the pressure on the lanes right now. Grab onto Faker. Arrow hits Bengi. Faker hops away. There's a Cocoon on the score. Score could be in a bit of trouble as Marin comes in from the back lines. He's all over Arrow. Arrow trying to get back to his base. Can't do it. Sunfire Cape takes him off. Meanwhile, Someday over the wall gets a kill onto Kennen, but it's all SKT right now. 3 for 1 already as Nagne gets hit with another Cocoon. Marin pulled in by Peekaboo's death sentence. Here comes Bang though. Oh, Nagne takes out Bengi, got a bit too close to the death ray there, and Marin grabbed in. There's a bloodthirsty support right there. Kill the Maokai. Maybe it's going to take Arrow a couple thousand auto attacks, but Thresh can handle it.
He's got it. With the help of the base turret, I guess he can successfully take out the Malphite and gets his flash too. Marin tried to flash over that base wall.
Yeah.
Not going to help too much.
Well, again, the silliness continues. SKT certainly not playing the most methodical closeout we've ever seen. But I think this is all part of the plan. A best of 5. You can win a game like this and demoralize your opponent being 2 games down. That is perhaps more powerful than just closing it out quickly.
We get insight into the mindset of KT. They could have surrendered at 20, but it's probably smart to keep playing out. Maybe
you never know.
Maybe most of your team discussion is dominated by what should we change in Game 3 rather than what is necessarily happening here. Because SKT, they've let lesser teams do this. And remember the Samsung series where they let Crown get massive on Yasuo when they could have finished the game. They'll still most likely finish it out, but they are giving more and more rope to KT. And maybe even more crucially, more and more time to dissect what KT need to do to get back in this series in later games.
Yeah, I don't think you surrender during a grand finals. Might as well play it out. You never know.
I mean, you kind of do know. Arrow still has no Infinity Edge here.
There it
in
is.
25 minutes. Got it, finally. You can see he's already basically 2 core items behind Bang in this particular game. And what do you change of your KT next time? I think you just have to start playing with more wave clear. I think that's really what you have to do right now, because SK Telecom has been dominating you with higher wave clear compositions, and it hasn't opened up enough for KT to play to their strength. And they've just been totally shut down.
Cocoon on the score. Marin in position, gets grabbed by Peekaboo yet again. Peekaboo also delivers score to safety with that lantern. Peekaboo's really been making plays. Oh, Faker, here's a duel. Nagne there as well, but SKT bringing in a couple more members to help the kill happen. Faker picks that one up. Would like to see that duel, but Bang decided to interfere.
Well, Faker takes no damage from the Victor, as it seems.
Yeah,
He
I
dropped
guess.
the Chaos Storm right on him, and it barely did anything. Marin is just on split push duty with his spiky fists, hammering away at this turret.
14,000 gold lead. SK Telecom with Nagne out of the way feels a lot more comfortable going after this Baron. They can always turn and fight as well. And they may have to. There goes KT running away immediately. Box use teleport coming from Marin over the wall. A nice 2-man unstoppable force, and he is looking like just that as SKT taking apart KT right now. Someday on the run already. There's a kill for Bang. Wolf exhausted, but still going after score. Bengi and Someday dueling in the jungle. That's not supposed to happen. Arrow coming in though. There's the repel as Faker comes back in. Bang low, and Faker finds Arrow. Bengi will live. Faker just destroying everyone. 8-1-4 on that Diana already. And he's got the Zhonya's hourglass at this point. He's not worried about anything. Okay, now it's time for Baron.
What do you say? I mean, SK Telecom just absolutely dominating this best of 5 so far. I mean, I hope that KT can make this a series. You know, there are parallels already to what we saw way back
KT
in...
teleporting in. They're going to go after Marin. Marin throws the Q back at Nagne. Marin in a lot of trouble. Faker goes in. He's trying to be a hero here. Bang only at half health. Nagne's still going to go down. And here comes Wolf with that slicing maelstrom. Didn't quite catch Someday, but at least they're able to disengage. Now with Nagne down, does this leave a counter Baron open?
I don't think so.
They don't have the damage takedown Baron. They don't have really an AD carry. He has an Infinity Edge only at 27 minutes.
It's true.
It's just No real way to pressure that objective for your KT. Now, you asked the question, is just basically walking in 2v5, 3v5, 1v5 to stop the Baron worth it? You could maybe say yes, just because you looked at SKT's lineup. 2 ranged auto attackers, one of them situational and Elise, the other one 500 range. I guess Kennen as well. But the turret threat with Baron buff is immense. The dive is easy, the push is easy. Yep, Ash dead again.
There we go. Marin and Bengi find Ash, who dies for the 8th time in this game.
0, 8, and 1.
This has got to be Arrow's worst game of Champion Summer.
Well, I mean, what is he supposed to do, though? It's Malphite Diana. I mean, as soon as they start to fall behind, and that Malphite got such an advantage over the Fizz in the laning phase.
He can't go anywhere. He can't do anything.
Well, and we have to talk about Bengi, too, because Bengi not thought of as a very mechanical jungler, but he does have his hot streaks. He has had his times where he's looked good as we go in.
Going back in, yeah, Faker onto Nagne, onto Peekaboo, the rest of SKT, going around the box to try to catch up. Looks like they're going to leave it there for now. SKT still with no Baron, but looks like they're going to try to go for it with the box out of the way.
But Bengi, back to Bengi, he has hit nearly every cocoon tonight. Yeah. He has been really spot on with that ability in a way that I haven't actually seen from Bengi in quite some time. He always used to be an Elise player, but this level of skill shot accuracy,
a desperation attempt to steal from score didn't go through, and SKT with Baron now looking to close this one out. And I mean, you're right about Bengi. People oftentimes talk about how he's not this mechanical jungler, but he's shown from time to time that he really can put together very solid mechanical performances, and this is definitely one of them.
And he's weird because it's not game to game. He's really streaky in that way. He can go on long for a couple months looking very mechanically good and then just fall right back down into just missing every skill shot. But tonight's been very good.
It's been fun watching the reinvention of players like Clearlove, like Bengi, who can play mechanical champions, just maybe are not known for them as the push with the Baron buff especially.
Yeah, so easy for SKT to just blow through that. They catch score with another cocoon. Nearly goes down. There's the slicing, or there's the ultimate from Marin onto Peekaboo and Nagne. They take them out fast. And SKT, I think it's time to end the game, guys. A double kill for Bang. They're going in. Arrow taken out by Faker. He is right outside the fountain. Faker unafraid. Someday still trying to duel. That's a dangerous game to play. And Someday not able to fight Faker. Nexus turret's taken down, and SKT cruises to an easy victory here in Game 2. GG. It's 2-0 for SK Telecom.
We'll see where KT goes after this, because right now they are just on the verge of getting blown out in this series.
Yeah.
Now there are only 3 players left, which are Score, Faker, and Bengi from the match that happened 2 years ago. But I will say that we were in a very similar position in that 2013 final. If you remember, the KT Bullets were up 2-0, and they had 2 dominating performances on fast push compositions. In that third game, SK Telecom mixed it up. They started playing a pick composition, and they were able to scramble back. I mean, it would be an amazing story if KT could complete the reverse sweep like we saw SKT do 2 years ago. But man, they have to pick it up, because they really don't look like they came to play tonight.
And the only optimism you can have as a KT fan is this hasn't really been KT's game MO. But yeah, it's a long way back.
That's right, so a victory for SK Telecom, guys, and when we come back, game number 3, SKT takes it home right here, or KT begins the comeback. It's gonna be one of those two. It's gonna be exciting either way. Just like 2 years ago, you really can't call KT down and out after 2 games like that. So, don't go anywhere. We'll be back with game number 3 of the OGN Champion Summer Finals right after this short break, and then probably a funny video where the KT players look much happier than they do now. That's my official prediction, guys.
I think your prediction's probably pretty accurate there, Doa.
I think so too. We'll be back in a little bit, guys. Don't go anywhere. Game 3 coming up.